Okay, this is part two of how we're going to create our tile pattern. So um, we've created our tile and now we're going to create this pattern. So we're going to take the tile and we're going to place it into a new file 9 times. So here's our tile, and if you remember, the image size is 300 by 300 at 200. So we need to make a new file that will contain 9 of these. So we multiply 300 times 300 times 3, so we get a file that's 900 by 900 at 200. So we go File, New. Um, we can go ahead and set the color mode at grayscale because we're working in grayscale. We can make the background contents white, and then set the width at 900, the height at 900, and the resolution at 200. Okay, so now let's place the file. So we'll go File, Place Embedded. There it is. And then we'll just bring it right up into the corner and it clinks in place. So again, make sure that you have your snap set and your snap to guides set. Okay, so hit return to place it, and then have the move tool selected, hit your option key, that makes a copy, and we'll just keep working our way over it. So this is kind of critical that we want to go in a logical order like this. You can see that we're building layers. Look at this, we're creating little kitties. Isn't that cute? A lot of repetition. Um, and there's some ways to mitigate this. Let's go ahead and save this as one solution. So we're going to go File, Save As, and first let's save it as a PSD because this one we are going to want to edit. So let's call it, I'm going to call it Final Kitty. Save it to desktop. Okay. Now let's save a JPEG of it. So we'll go go File, Save As, Final Kitty, and then we save it as a JPEG. Okay, so that's been saved to the desktop. Now let's play around with this. One thing we could do is rotate every other layer. So here's all your layers. So what we're going to do is select the Command key and now just click on every other layer. And now those 5 layers are selected. So when we apply some sort of transformation, it'll do it to all 5. Transform, go rotate. I'm sorry, we'll go edit, transform, and we'll go rotate 90 degrees clockwise. It does one. And you'll see that every other tile is rotated. I don't know if this is better, but it does create a little bit more visual interest. The problem is we're not seeing any sort of connection from this side of the file to this side of the file. So I don't know if that's really a great one, but we can go ahead and save it. So we can go File, Save, apply the transformation, and we'll go File, Save As. Let's call this Final Kitty 2. Save. Okay, and then we'll go File, Save As, and then we'll save it as a JPEG. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put our motif, our tile, and our pattern all in one file. So let's create a new file. We'll go File, New, and let's make it 1100 wide by 1500 by 200. Okay, so we know that our widest file is 900, and if we center it, that means we're going to be 100 pixels off of each edge. So let's just go ahead and pull the guideline. So click on over here and we're going to snap it to 100, and we're going to snap it. I'm going to pull another one. to 1000. Okay, so now let's go File, and let's start with our motif. Comes into the center. Let's just pull it right to that guideline. Okay, and then let's place another one. Let's place our tile. So tile, that's 300 by 300. And then let's put it up next to this. And you'll see that when they begin to line up by centers and edges, the little violet guidelines come. So we know that they're aligned exactly. So that's good. Okay. So then so we have to place it by hitting enter, and then let's go File, place embedded, and then let's place the pattern. So let's do the final kitty. And then we can bring it down. So we can just kind of eyeball. So see, we've got a relatively even. It's about 100. If we really wanted to, we could, again, we could pull guidelines. We could go, well, let's pull a guideline at 1400, and that shows us that we've got a 100 pixel border. We could also put one at 100 at the top. So it looks like these guys, are a little bit shy of that. So as long as we select both of them, and then I can hit the command key, I've got both of them selected, and then I can actually use the up arrow on the keyboard, get them right there. Okay, place them. All right, so I've got them in place. One of the problems I've got is that where the white hits the edge here, the image kind of disappears. So what I'm going to do is, there's several different ways I could do this. I want to make sure I'm on select the background layer, and I'm going to give it a gray border. So what I'm going to do is select the little palette, hit the gray. Okay, got to make sure I'm in the background, and then go to the bucket tool, and voila, that looks nice. Now they stand out. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this as a PSD file. I'm going to go File, Save As, and I might call it Pattern 1. Save it to desktop, save. Okay, all right. Now, let's say that I wanted to show the iteration where they're rotated. Well, I don't have to do a whole new file. What I can do is take this file. What I can do, go to the Move tool, go to the final kitty, and I just delete that. Delete, okay? And then I'll go File, Place Embedded, and then that one was the final kitty to JPEG. So I'm going to place and then move it down. Okay. And then I'll save this one. I'll go File, Save As, and I want to place it Pattern 2 PSD. Save. Okay. Now let's save it as a JPEG. So we'll go File, Save As, and then we'll go JPEG, Save. Okay. So the one last thing I might want to do is label this. So let's go to the text box here. Okay. Now, I don't want the text to come in as gray, so I'm going to click this, select black. Okay. And 12 point works pretty well. You can pick any font you want. I'll just use the Arial Bold. So let's call this motif. And then I'm hitting the space bar. and we'll call this guy tile. I'm going to go back and capitalize. Okay, and then that selects it, and then I can move the whole thing over hitting the right arrow key. Okay, and then let me now label this, and I'm going to call this pattern 2, and I can call it reflection with 90-degree rotation. And then again, if I select it, it's too far over, I can either use the move tool to move it, or I can move it with the uh, arrows, the side arrows or down arrows. Okay, so now let's just go image and our layer, and we'll go flatten image, and then we're going to save it. We'll file. Just make sure it's a JPEG. So we're going to go file. Okay, so that's it. Again, you can go back and forth between the PSD files and save them. So that's basically it. You want to have these will now be ready to be placed in Blackboard, and I'm sure everybody knows how to do that. That's it.